Hey everyone, it's Noah me in it again on the Arc of Truth. It's currently 10:01 p.m. and it's August 6, 2017. There have actually been three stories that have developed. The first one is with the governor of West Virginia, Jim Justice, switching over to the Republican Party. He's switching back to the Republican Party. He was originally a Republican until 2015, and then he eventually turned into a Democrat later. But as of right now, he switched to the Republican Party. It's kind of funny because a lot of these media outlets have actually claimed that the Republican Party's in disarray. To a certain extent, that is true. Mainly in the Senate, because they can't really get this get a lot of the agenda for President Trump to pass and even go to the Oval Office. That's a big problem, and I hope that in 2018 we can actually get something like that done. Maybe even wipe out the entire Democratic Party, for example. And here's the thing: if the Republican Party is in disarray, why is it that the Republican Party holds a majority in governorships and state legislatures, not to mention control of the Congress and the presidency? I'm not kidding. In fact, there are about now 26 governors who actually are aligned to the Republican Party, and I think about 6 of them are 6 of these states are actually fully under Democratic control, both the legislature and the governorship. And okay, I'm making a correction here. The 26 states, I meant where the Republicans control both the governorship and the state legislature. My bad. And the rest, it's pretty much a mixed bag, kind of like here in Washington, where there's a Democrat governor, but it's kind of sort of mixed on who controls the state legislature. So yeah, that's kind of weird, considering how badly the Democrats are doing. In fact, they've already lost 5 special elections, and they just had 1 governor defection. That's big, and they are scared of a few new competitors. In fact, dang it, I forgot his name because it's kind of complicated to say, but in Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren is going to have to be dealing with someone from the Republican Party who's obviously going to be a big opponent against her. This guy happens to be Indian and has a little bit of Native American blood in him, and he's a Republican, and it's kind of like what he's doing, what Trump is doing, in terms of making fun of Elizabeth Warren, mainly because of her fake Indian heritage, Native American heritage. In my honest opinion, I don't think that Republicans are gonna gain control of the Senate seat there. I could be wrong. And in fact, Scott Brown actually controlled the seat one time, before he was ousted by Elizabeth Warren. But considering how far it's a progressive, blue-leaning state, I don't see that as very likely to have happened. But this obviously shows not just the mainstream's media bias, but also the lack of looking at the whole delusion that everything is going fine for the Democrats. It's just not. I mean, come on. You got the whole Senate, all these Senate elections is against you because simply they're the same seats that happen to be in blue-leaning states, and they're being contested, and about 4 of them happen to be Republican held. That's a big problem. So I don't think you guys should be living in fantasy world anymore if you want to win elections. In fact, if you continue this path, you're definitely gonna lose the entire Senate. Maybe not right now, but the fact that, considering that you have this single issue where we're not Trump and we hate him, that definitely says a lot. Now, the second one is recently President Trump actually signed into law the RAISE Act, which is meant to have a meritocratic system in place for legal immigration, thus cutting down legal immigration by 50%. It also states that it requires that immigrants have knowledge in the English language. I personally support this bill, but that's not what I'm going to talk about right here. What I'm going to talk about is the overall exchange between Stephen Miller and Jim Acosta. It was definitely brutal. It's just Jim Acosta's pure stupidity bedazzles me. It just does. What he does is try to quote the New Colossus, which, if you don't know, is a poem that describes the Statue of Liberty. Hell, it's even inscribed on it. But he considers that as if it was like a law or a policy or something. Despite the fact that, although I'm not saying that the poems, I'm not understanding the poems importance to us, but it's not official U.S. policy or lawmaking, and the fact that Jim Acosta just uses it only further discredits him. But he goes even further, where he says, now are we going to try to accept people from like Australia or England because obviously they speak English? That's the biggest middle finger to those guys. If you're Australian or English. Jeez. I can't believe he actually did that. You know what, to prove Jim Acosta wrong, I actually have a few ancestors who are definitely immigrants. Like on my Nana side, or well, on my dad's side, we have Irish and Polish lineage, and we still speak English today. On my grandmother's side, I have Finnish and German blood in my veins, and yet I'm speaking English. And I'm sure that they spoke English very good too, especially when they came here. The point is, this is not meant to be racist. It's just meant to be helping immigrants to better assimilate in our society and to get a better footing in the economy. I mean, they definitely, like any other law-abiding citizen, what they want to do is try to get some good money and try to build up a substantial living. That's all there is to it. It's the same for every immigrant. That's all it is. But the fact that they're making this requirement of English only should make it easier, considering that trying to understand a different language would be difficult to understand, considering that we are an English-dominated country, while there are multitudes of other languages and multitudes of other immigrants around who might not even know the language. So that would definitely be a big step. That would definitely create a lot of competition in the immigration system. And personally, for right now, I am fine with that. Now, the third and final thing is this whole thing with Robert Mueller trying to get the grand jury to get a subpoena on Donald Trump to see if he has any evidence, if there's evidence of him colluding with the Russians. So this is obviously coming from how Donald Trump Jr. talked to that Russian lawyer about about basically, any negative information on the Hillary Clinton campaign. And unfortunately, it did turn out to be not very useful, because it was about the adoption ban that President Vladimir Putin announced a few years ago. But it's coming back up again because Donald Trump actually knew a little bit about this meeting, but where's the real crime in it? I mean, he's the one who's running for president. He obviously is trying to get some dirt on Hillary Clinton. I'm pretty sure that Hillary Clinton was actually doing the same thing, trying to get some dirt on Donald Trump. I mean, I'm sure that's actually a lot of what other presidential candidates have done in the past. That wouldn't surprise me. But where's the smoking gun? All he does is that he knows about the meeting, but it didn't really come to a very it didn't really come anywhere close to being useful, besides just knowing about the adoption ban in Russia. That's all it was. And now Robert Mueller is trying to get a subpoena from the grand jury in order to get some more information about this meeting. It's infuriating, because it's just going to drag out for months. And it's just going to gain media coverage, because this is one of the few times when an official is trying to nearly subpoenaed by the grand jury, it's usually by like the FBI, and they do it whenever to show any teeth or any backbone against a possible person who may have broken the law. Right now, from what I understand, there is not really a smoking gun that actually supports actually getting Trump subpoenaed by this grand jury. Hell, there's even claims that there may be bias, considering that it's in DC and that's a heavily Democratic area. That wouldn't really surprise me, but maybe there's something that I don't know that Robert Mueller is keeping from us as a way to continue the investigation and without it to being tampered with. But let's face it, I think it's already tampered with. Okay, that's all I have for today. Post your comments down below, like, and subscribe. My name is Noah Mia from the Arc of Truth. See ya.